Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second episode of the Sackico Podcast. I don't think we'll make it this far.
Me neither.
I feel like this is further than most podcasts make it. I reckon the majority stop after the first episode. I think I saw a stat of like 95% of podcasts don't make it to 10 episodes. So that's got to be our aim.
We've got to be in the top 5%.
Yeah. So if you missed last week's episode, we did our predictions for the Premier League season and a few other sort of predictions throughout the footballing world. My predictions so far have gone disastrously wrong. Obviously, it's the first game week, still very early days. But some of my player predictions, I predicted Pau Torres to be signing of the season. He had an absolute disaster class against Aston Villa.
Against Newcastle.
He was playing for Aston Villa, yeah, against Newcastle.
Yeah, conceded 5. Not a great start.
Yeah, I said Sandro Tonali may be the flop of the season. He scored on his... Yeah, and was
probably their best player.
All round brilliant. I also predicted João Pedro to be a flop of the season.
He wasn't great.
He did miss a sitter, but he did also score. So,
penalty.
Yeah, not a great start. Some of the breakout players that I predicted, Arnel Ahmedhodzic had a bit of a stinker against Crystal Palace. McAtee and Archer, neither of them played. And then finally, Zaroury at Burnley didn't start, came off the bench, got sent off after about 5 minutes. So all round, not the best start for me.
Yeah, I think I had a slightly better start than you,
but we'll see. It's a marathon, not a sprint, I guess.
Yeah, well, I can't talk. I had Jury and Timber for signing of the season.
Yeah,
went off injured after about 10-15 minutes, so it's not been a great start for either of us. But we can only go upwards from here.
Okay, let's quick discussion about some of the headlines this week. The big one, another thing that we sort of got wrong last week is both of us were pretty confident Harry Kane was staying.
Well, at the time, it did look like he was going. He was going to stay, but...
Yeah. It is now confirmed that obviously he is joined by Munich and has already missed out on his first trophy opportunity. The curse continues. He deserves a trophy.
Yeah.
But it also wouldn't have felt great if that was the first trophy you won.
No.
Because the Community Shield is already like a glorified friendly. But especially when it's like you didn't even win the tournament. You weren't even there to get into this.
It'll be nothing to him. I mean, for me though, does it make them now Champions League favourites or top 2 teams to win it?
Yeah, I still think City are probably the favourites. Arsenal will give it a real go this season.
You reckon?
Yeah, you never know. You get some. I mean, Inter Milan got to the final last year. No one would have predicted that at the start of the season. So you never know who's going to be good. People wouldn't have predicted Chelsea to win it when they did.
No.
It is, at the end of the day, it is a knockout tournament, so anything can happen, really. But yeah, Bayern, you'd imagine will be contenders, but they were unconvincing last season.
Yeah, they really were.
And have obviously just lost 3-0 to RB Leipzig, so we will see on that department.
Next up then, Caicedo finally joining Chelsea after the entire saga over the weekend looked like he was going to Liverpool and then refused to join Liverpool, really, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one, that, and I find it interesting that obviously Chelsea and Liverpool were playing each other, which we will get onto in a second. Yeah, I find that weird. I'm assuming, like, is Chelsea that much more desirable than Liverpool? I think it's got to be to do with not wanting to relocate.
It's to do with London, isn't it?
Yeah, you would imagine.
That's the selling point there. It's not a football thing. If you're thinking pure football, you go Liverpool, you go and join Klopp, you look at the players that they already have, the players they might be bringing in, and you think, yeah, Liverpool's the place I want to go, but it's obviously not just come down to football for him.
So how... His contract is it a 9-year contract with an option for a further extension?
It runs till 2031 with an extra year, so it's an 8-year contract with an optional year extension.
That is outrageous. Like, it's the fact that they're thinking, what if got to be careful, because what if in 8 years' time we want to have him for an extra season?
Well,
make sure you include that.
It's bizarre because he's the British transfer record as well, and he's played one season, really.
Before he was on loan at Beerschot in the Belgian league, and wasn't a massively standout player for them.
No.
It's a bit of a bizarre one. I think he's a good player, but the sort of transfer fees we're talking about these days, I feel like that since the Paul Pogba disappointment almost of a signing, that now looks like okay business in this current market.
Yeah.
But I feel like that is when transfer fees got ridiculous, and since then it's
the one that really sent it was Neymar, wasn't it?
Yeah, but at least Neymar was one of the top players in the world.
Very
now
true.
This is like,
but so was Pogba at the time. If you're talking,
yeah, but we're talking about over 100 million fees for players who are coming from Brighton. Yes, it's buying potential. It's not buying a finished article whatsoever. He's a good player, but he also got spun inside out by Miggy Almiron last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those. I think that's a bit of a weird one. Just touched on Neymar.
Yeah, he's at it again.
PSG is in a very strange place at the moment. So it looks like Neymar is off to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, Al Hilal, just under €100 million fee.
Yeah.
Fabrizio was giving it the here we go treatment, so it must be happening, of course.
Ultra reliable. And it looks like Mbappe is now choosing to stay at PSG.
Yeah.
Their relationship's always seemed a bit of a weird one. Sometimes they look like they're best friends, and other times you want him to stay as soon as Neymar's leaving.
Yeah.
It's a... Mbappe needs to leave PSG.
Yeah,
I don't think this is... If he wants to be seen as an all-timer, he needs to... He can't be playing his club career in France. That's just not gonna fly. Neymar, yeah, he's not lived up to what he should have, I don't feel.
No. If he'd have stayed at Barcelona, he'd be comfortably the third best player of this generation.
Yeah.
I think behind Messi and Ronaldo, you'd be talking about him as probably a top 10 player of all time. Some people probably say he is, but I wouldn't say he is personally. But I think if he'd have stayed at Barcelona and carried on doing what he was doing there, he'd have just been astronomically good.
Yeah. Sort of final sort of headline to talk about Manchester City. Some weird transfer business this window.
So it's looking like Lucas Paqueta and Jeremy Doku will be joining the club.
Yeah.
It looks like in the next day or two an official bid will be put in for Doku. That will...
He had a great performance at the weekend.
Yeah, he did. Goal, I think he 100% completed passes, 100% completed runs, things like that. It's promising signs, but I've watched a bit of him, especially when he's played for Belgium, and he doesn't convince me. He doesn't.
I quite like it. He's got a lot of ability, but he's also... He's one of those players who starts dribbling, and he's clearly a good dribbler, but I'm not sure he ever has like an
end goal.
Yeah, he's just running and seeing what happens.
And another thing he doesn't particularly have is end product. He can take it past a lot of players at high speed, but then his final ball...
I feel like it's one of those players who maybe with a bit of time will... That's something you hope
that
of
time under Pep, especially. I mean, the same with Raheem Sterling when he joined.
Paqueta, I think that is a truly bizarre signing.
Yeah.
Certainly I think he's a great player, and he's got obviously a Brazilian international, but for the figures being charted...
You're looking at 85 million, aren't you?
Yeah.
What West Ham want, and City seems to just be ploughing on with it. They've agreed the personal terms.
I feel like when Pep has his eyes set on a player, it's like he's getting that player.
Yeah. The only one he didn't get was... Well, he got missed out on Van Dijk and Sanchez. They were the two.
Yeah, but... I just find it bizarre, and I don't feel like... I feel like it may hinder Foden's development, potentially, and...
Yeah.
I think that's disappointing, because I think he's a sensational talent. Don't get me wrong, Paqueta's a great player. I just don't think for the money being... I don't think it's what you need.
No, it's not what's needed at City at all. I think Doku makes sense, because there's a clear lack of a winger at the club, especially with Mahrez's departure. But there's not much need for a midfielder. The only thing I can think of is they are now thinking ahead of Kevin De Bruyne, and that we have seen the best of him. You know, he's picking up injuries a lot. He'll never be the player he was a year or two ago, and they must be thinking Paqueta can come in and begin to replace him.
But I was sort of thinking, obviously Foden we saw step in for De Bruyne in the Champions League final, and also Pep seems to be almost converting Julian Alvarez into that sort of position.
Yeah, he does, but I don't think that's Alvarez's future at all.
No, probably not.
I think once Pep leaves, City will probably end up going to two strikers, and they will utilise Haaland and Alvarez together as two number 9s. But for now, I think the only logical reason I can think of for Paqueta is they are thinking about Kevin De Bruyne and thinking how long has he realistically got left at a top level. And could he be looking at retirement if these injuries keep coming?
Yeah. We'll move on to talk about the game of the week, which you have selected for the Premier League. What game do you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I've gone Liverpool versus Chelsea. It was a classic game of Barclays, if you please.
Vintage Barclays.
Yeah, it really was, and I think the first talking point has to be who Sky Sports selects as man of the match, and I'd completely agree, is Enzo Fernandez. He absolutely bossed that game. He's been at Chelsea since January, in quite an unsuccessful Chelsea side.
Yeah, I think he's done well, and he's not done anything wrong necessarily for Chelsea, but yeah, Chelsea haven't had the success while he's been there. But yeah, I was really impressed with him. And there's a few other Chelsea players. I think the Reece James-Chilwell partnership is going to be key for them. If they stay fully fit, I think they're the best fullback partnership in the league.
Easily, comfortably, yeah.
But their fitness is not it. And, Reece James apparently came off when he was tired. Chilwell looked to be a bit potentially injured. Hopefully it's nothing too serious for him. I think the defence looked pretty solid. Obviously, for the goal they conceded, it's an unbelievable ball from Salah.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much that could have been done about that. No, I was impressed with Chelsea. I think they looked already signs of improvement under Pochettino.
Yeah, massive.
But that being said, it's another draw versus Liverpool. So another talking point of the Chelsea-Liverpool game was the Jackson and McAllister bookings. Sorry, what's that again? Should I say the technical difficulties?
No.
Okay. So another key talking point of the Chelsea vs Liverpool game was the McAllister and Jackson bookings, where we saw both of them booked for sort of demonstrating a yellow card. What do you make of this sort of as a new rule?
I think it's a really good change, to be honest. I think it brings protection for referees, and it stops players crowding them, and it'll teach players a lesson, and it'll take them a couple of weeks to learn that you can't do it anymore. We are starting to see it a little bit, some players not demanding a yellow and not protesting too much to the ref. And I think it's overall going to be a positive change and will bring more respect to officials, and it might bring more bookings, but the players shouldn't do it if they don't want to be booked for it.
Yeah, I think the interesting case of it is in the Rotherham game, where straight after a Rotherham player was shown a yellow card for excessive celebration, which I always think is a ridiculous rule, especially in the circumstances that he didn't take his shirt off or anything. He was stood fairly near to the crowd, and the refs blocked him for that. And then 2 minutes after that, he's been shown a second yellow card after being fouled for asking for a yellow. I feel like it can be a ref sort of being a bit power hungry, but at the same time, you want it to stop. Referees get a lot of abuse, and they do make some bad decisions, and sometimes it's deserved, but also they're humans, and the way that they are treated by managers and by players at times is not acceptable.
No, not at all.
So that sort of leads on to another new ruling that has sort of been introduced. The amount of coaching staff allowed in the technical area.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's a good rule ultimately, because it's limited now to 2 members of coaching staff in the technical area, or supposed to be anyway. 1 at the front of the technical area, so the manager in most cases, 1 at the back. I think it's a good rule. It stops more abuse of referees. It stops, when you've got 4 coaches stood there screaming at the ref, screaming at the 4th official. It limits that. It makes it easier as well if the referee needs to book a member of staff. It makes it easy to identify which member of staff it was. But it's not really being put into effect already. We've seen it in the Arsenal Forest game. This rule was brought in quite heavily because of Mikel Arteta, and already Arsenal have 3 members of coaching staff stood on the touchline next to the 4th official who's doing nothing. So I think to implement this rule, it has to be done properly, and currently it's not being done.
Yeah, I think it's... I would rather see a rule introduced which limits where... Obviously, like, a manager is already supposed to stay in the technical area.
Yeah.
I think it should be, when they step out of the technical area, whether that's to go confront a 4th official or they just step out, sometimes even onto the pitch. You see Guardiola's and down playing midfield.
Yeah.
I feel like that should be, first of all, a warning, then you're gone.
Yeah.
Not so maybe you book them the first time, but it is ridiculous how these managers just like there is a box designed for you to stand in. And yeah, sometimes it is really small, but like I find it ridiculous. So yeah, it's an interesting rule introduced. I don't know how much it will actually be enforced because standing in the technical area isn't often enforced. Another sort of refereeing rule change is the amount of minutes added time being played in games, which has definitely been, I think it's more drastically seen in the EFL sort of last weekend, but we have seen it introduced into the Premier League. What are your thoughts on that?
I've got two contrasting views on this. I think, one side of it, you're getting more football out of it. So your match going fan who pays, £60 a ticket in some cases, sometimes more, is getting more value for money. We are seeing more football. The average kind of minutes played is around the mid-50s in the Premier League, and that's due to rolling around, time wasting. A lot of tactical stuff comes into that, but on the flip side of that, you've got players at the elite level who are playing, 2-3 games a week, who already play 90 minutes. Now it's looking like they'll play over 100 per game at least, sometimes 105, 110 minutes per match. And it's going to cause a lot of big injuries, and it's going to overstrain players who play, sort of 55, 60 games a season at club level, not including their international football. And I think it will impact the game negatively in the long run.
I think I have a lack of sympathy for the sort of big clubs doing that, because you constantly hear Klopp going on about fixture congestion, how it's not fair on his players, and you've seen Guardiola sort of go on about so, and a player like Rodri, for example, who played almost every single minute last season. I don't feel much sympathy for Manchester City, because it's like, oh no, you're playing Southampton, you're starting Rodri. You have a £40 million defensive midfielder not getting any minutes out on your bench. He would be Southampton's best player. So I don't feel that much sympathy. So when it's like we're playing more football, when the original reports of like the amount of football that was actually getting played was like 52 minutes.
Yeah.
If we're adding on an extra 8 minutes of additional time to sort of bring this up to around about a 60-minute match, that feels okay. We're never going to get to a point where we're actually playing 90 minutes of football, because that, I would agree, that would be ridiculous. But, I think hopefully it cuts out time wasting. It stops teams taking so long to take corners and goal kicks and everything. And because it's frustrated.
Yeah,
and,
it definitely is frustrating.
I'm glad to see them trying to stop time wasting. Maybe in the future we'll see an implementation of a pause of the clock, especially for sort of serious injuries or significant stoppages of play. Probably not like every time it goes out for a throw-in, but certainly more often. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. Right, move on. Do you want to talk about any other Premier League games?
Yeah, we'll just touch on the weekend's results, really. So the Premier League started off the season with Burnley at home to Manchester City, ended 3-0 to City. Erling Haaland's back. Yeah, he was never gone, was he?
Yeah.
He's a joke.
Took him first touch, 3 minutes, and certainly that finish for the second goal was unbelievable.
Yeah. Then the next match, Saturday, 12:30, Arsenal at home to Forest. Arsenal started strong, but I think towards the end they got quite complacent, actually, and Forest looked like they were going to get back into the game.
Yeah, Forest had a chance to take the lead. Brennan Johnson missed a very good opportunity. And then I think Bukayo Saka's goal is unbelievable. Martinelli assist, did he mean it?
Oh,
I think he's trying to do that skill, but to dribble. Yeah. I don't think he meant it as a pass. I think he was trying to get past the players, but it's a great bit of skill either way, and then a deflected goal. Yeah, I think they're a good side. They're going to be up there again this season.
Next match-up, Bournemouth West Ham, 1-1 draw. I mean, not much to say there.
Yeah,
they're pretty evenly matched sides. Jared Bowen scored a good goal, but I think both of them are lacking a little bit. Next match-up, Brighton versus Luton. Newly promoted Luton losing 4-1 away at Brighton. Yeah. To be expected, really. Luton quite naive for the Premier League, to be honest.
I think Brighton are a very good side. That's a difficult first fixture for Luton. I think they'll progress more. They'll do better than that. I was disappointed because I think they had such a defensively solid last season, and I was a bit disappointed with them. But No, we'll see how they get on.
Yeah, then next up, Sheffield United 0, Crystal Palace 1. Go and give me your thoughts.
Yeah, so I think we weren't good enough. It was about, I expected it to be 1-0. We put out a side that had zero creativity in it because we don't have those players at the moment. So yeah, I never expected us to score, but we do have a decent defence still. So yeah, 1-0 felt about right. Main talking points for me, Roy Hodgson starting to fight with Max Lowe.
Yeah.
Just bizarre. a bit bizarre, but you know,
still got it going though, doesn't he, Roy?
Yeah,
76 and the fight's still in the belly.
It seemed to be all in good fun, and they smiled at each other after. So I don't think it was anything serious. And I do want to talk about Anthony Hackford. He made his debut for us 3 years ago, playing against Crystal Palace, and then 3 years later, he has returned to Sheffield United, and my theory is that is the most someone's hairline has gone back in between appearances in football history. Like, he's got braids now, so it does just look different. But it was also, I was just seeing him on the pitch, and I'm like, Jesus. Yeah, it's been a long time since we've seen him in both his games against Crystal Palace.
Yeah, then next up, the final 3 p.m. kickoff on the Saturday was Everton 0, Fulham 1. Everton really unlucky with their disallowed goal. It's a goalkeeping error, to be honest. He's jumped over the top of a player who was stood there. He's dropped it, and Everton have tapped it in.
But Leno has had aside from that, he's had an absolute masterclass.
Yeah, he had a great game aside from that, but I think Everton very unlucky there.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, probably the second best game of the weekend here, Newcastle 5, Aston Villa 1. I think we semi-talked about this earlier. Newcastle were absolutely rampant.
That Isaac chip finish is one of the dirtiest things I've ever seen. Just the confidence, because like normally when you chip in, you've got a lot of space and time to think about it, and it's what you. That's just like a instinct. He just like had a quick glance up to the keeper, a little bit off his line, and just thought, "Oh, I'm going over here."
Yeah,
he's an unbelievable talent, and you know Isaac and Wilson. We've seen them play together. We've seen them come on and off for each other. They are both incredible goal scorers, and Newcastle are looking great.
Yeah, just touching on Villa briefly, we talked about them last week. We thought they were going to do quite well, but their high line was completely ineffective. Newcastle just played around it and just kept playing balls in behind that had success. I think that's going to be a big problem for them if they don't sort it out. Tyrone Mings out with a very serious injury by the looks of it. I think hopefully nothing too serious, but it looks like he could be out for quite a while. And finally, the final game of the weekend, the Sunday 2 o'clock, Brentford 2, Tottenham 2. No Tony, no problem for Brentford.
Yeah, Brentford looked solid. I think they're fairly evenly matched teams these days. You know, Tottenham without Kane are a mid-table team. Brentford are a mid-table team. I think Tottenham are probably going to have more problems without their star striker than Brentford will have. But yeah, Brian Mbeumo has stepped up, taken the mantle. Tottenham looked okay at times, but still a bit unconvincing. Yeah,
I think the only real positives for Tottenham that they could take was Jaden Maddison looked brilliant and Emerson looked transformed under Ange. You know, I think Ange Postecoglou might, if he makes a couple of alright signings, I think they're going in the right direction. I think selling Kane was actually a step in the right direction for them, whether they think that or not at the moment. I think getting £100 million in and being able to reinvest is the right direction, but we'll see.
Yeah, we should also say we are recording this on the Monday, so we have no idea what's going to happen in the Man United Wolves game.
Yeah, I can take a decent punt at it.
Yeah, I'm feeling 2-0.
I'm going to go 3-1 Man United. I think Wolves score first.
Okay.
And then United just hammer them from there.
Yeah, I feel like whatever we've just said is going to age like milk by the time. Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on now, and we're going to sort of have a bit of a competition against each other.
This could be a season-long competition, isn't it?
Yeah, so across our podcast episodes, we will be competing and setting each other little challenges, and they will gain points from each of these challenges, and whoever has the most points come the end of the season will have to buy the other person a football shirt, I believe is the current plan.
Yeah, so we're putting a £5 in each month into a PayPal account. The end of the season, whatever's in there, the loser buys the other player.
Also, it's only actually paying half a shirt, isn't it?
Yeah, you're paying half a shirt for a full football shirt.
It's not that bad. It's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
because we don't want it to be like a serious punishment, otherwise we just give each other like impossibly hard questions.
Yeah, exactly.
So to start off, you have 15 questions to calculate, or calculate is a weird word to use.
Work out
the player that I have written down. If you get it in 5 questions, or less, you will get 5 points.
Yep.
If you get it in 10 questions, you'll get it in 3 points, and if you get it in 15 questions, you will just get 1 point.
1 point. Right. So you go first then. Yep.
Who's asking? Who's?
I'll ask questions.
Okay.
You have the player.
Go for it.
So, question number 1: are they still a current footballer?
They are playing. Yes.
Do they play in the Premier League, Bundesliga, or La Liga?
No.
Do they play in the Serie A, the Portuguese division, or Ligue 1?
No.
Do they play in Scandinavia?
No.
Do they play...
I should really be counting these, shouldn't I? Right.
True, just cut that and redo it. Yeah, because we have no clue how many questions I'm on. But we'll just re-say it, but I'll obviously...
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so my first question is, are they still a active footballer?
They are, yes.
Do they play in the Premier League, Bundesliga, or Serie A?
They do not.
Okay, do they play in La Liga or Ligue 1?
No.
Do they play in Scandinavia?
No.
Okay, do they play in Belgium, Holland, or Austria?
No.
Do they play in Europe?
No.
Do they play in the USA or Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Do they play in the USA?
Yes.
Do they play for Inter Miami?
No.
Ooh. Is it Carlos Vela?
No. Oh, shit. That is 10 questions asked.
Do they play on East or West Coast?
Oh, my geography is not good enough for this. Hold up. I was going to need a VAR check. Which conference do they play in? I'm pretty confident it's East, but I am checking to be certain.
Oh, my MLS knowledge is not up to scale.
Yeah, they're in the Eastern Conference.
Okay. I don't know the teams that are in that.
So it's great silence. It's great for a podcast, that.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, sorry. Are they European?
They are not European, no.
Are they South American?
No.
Is it Thiago Almada?
No.
He's South American.
That is like lowest brain cell moment from you. You have one question to guess who it is.
I have to get who it is.
I feel like the methods you've gone about doing this were not smart.
I should have whittled down positions.
Yeah.
Is it Johan Blake?
It's not Johan Blake, no. The answer was Brad Guzan.
Oh my god.
United States legend.
Jesus.
That was...
That's a 0 point start for me.
That's a shocking start from you. You were just rattling out the same sort of questions.
Yeah, I really was.
Start big and narrow in.
Yeah. Right, so it's your turn now.
Okay.
So, I have a player. Just give me 1 second. Okay, when you're ready.
Are they an active player?
He is.
He is. Or is it he? Good start.
Do you want to keep this score?
Yeah, sure. Are they playing in European football?
He is.
Okay. Are they playing currently in the Premier League?
No.
Are they playing currently in a top 5 league?
They are.
I'm trying to think. Are they a goalkeeper?
He's not now.
Are they a defender?
He is.
Okay. It's a defender. Are they playing in Serie A?
He is.
Okay. Serie A, defender. And that's 7, I think?
Like 7, yeah.
Yeah. Are they a centre-back?
He is.
Okay. Have they previously played in the Premier League?
He has not, no.
He is not. Okay. Are they Italian?
He's not, no. That's 10 questions used up there.
10 questions.
Got 5 more.
Okay. So, I'm just playing for a point now. It's difficult. So they are not Italian centre-back playing in Serie A. Do they play for one of the Milan clubs?
He does.
Okay. Not played in the Premier League. Not Italian. Who the hell are the Milan centre-backs? I should really know this. See, obviously, Tomori's played in the Premier League. Depends why I have a Serbi now. Why am I drawing such a blank on Inter Milan centre-backs? Is it Kalulu?
It's not Pierre Kalulu.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Wasn't that your 12th question?
That was my 11th. That was my 11th, I think.
I think that was your 12th.
What was my previous question? I think I've just been waffling.
Yeah, I'll let you.
I don't think I've actually had a guess. If I have, my apologies, but I don't think so. This is difficult. Does he play for Inter Milan?
He does.
Shit. I really can't think of the Inter Milan centre-backs. This is really bad. Just completely drawing a blank. I definitely have a Serbi, but I think. Pretty sure, probably. Who? Bastoni? Italian? Dumfries is a fullback. Jesus. This is actually really bad.
3 questions.
Are they under the age of 25?
He's not.
Oh dear. It's just not. Are they South American?
He is not.
Right, that's my final get. We both. I don't feel like I'm getting it. I feel like I really should. But it's just not coming. Inter Milan centre back, not Italian, never played in the Premier League. This is probably people are screaming at me right now.
There's 2 players it could be.
There's 2 players it could be from the questions I've asked.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh dear, I can't think of either of them. It's not a good sign.
Well, I'd get guessing somebody.
Oh Jesus, wet man. It's not that. It's just no one. Brozovic.
It's not. It's Stefan de Vrij.
Oh, bloody de Vrij. Yeah, who's the other one?
Skriniar is the only other player it could be.
Skriniar's left though, hasn't he?
I think he has this summer, but on a technicality, I would have given you it.
Okay.
I mean, if he was the player I chose it.
Yeah. No, that's a stinker from both of us. So moving on, we are going to play the years game now after that absolute disaster class from both of us. So we're going to pick a year. I'm going to give 4 clues of things that happened in that year, and the other person has to guess it. So you get 5 points if you guess it on the first guess, then 3 if you get it on the second, 2 if you get it on the third, and 1 if you get it on the final guess. Shall I ask first?
You can guess my year first.
I can guess your year first. Okay.
Since I went first last time round?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so first clue, non-football one. Gangnam Style reaches 2 billion YouTube views.
Ooh. Well, Gangnam Style, I remember it. This is such a rogue. So, there's going to be 2 football clues and 2 non-football related clues. I'm going to say 2012.
Incorrect. Your next clue, Real Madrid beat Bayern Munich 4-0 at the Allianz in a Champions League semi-final.
2013.
Incorrect.
Okay.
Scotland holds its independence referendum.
Oh. When was this? 2014?
Correct.
Okay, so that's 2 points.
2 points.
I'm on the board.
My final clue is Luis Suarez bites Giorgio Chiellini.
Iconic. Absolutely iconic. Yeah, that was I was slowly working towards it there.
Yeah,
just
you were.
getting closer and closer. Okay, my one for you. Revels, as in the chocolate, temporarily replaced coffee with strawberry.
That should be a war crime, because coffee is the best flavour in a bag of Revels.
I would agree, and I remember this happening.
Okay, so you were alive.
I was alive.
So
that's another clue.
So I'm going from 2002 onwards here. So, and you can remember it. So it's not going to be. I don't know
why did I say that?
That's a terrible thing.
That's an absolute stinker.
So memory. So I'm going to say 2010 to start.
2010 is wrong. Klaas-Jan Huntelaar won the Eredivisie Golden Boot.
Oh, okay, right. So he went to Schalke around 2010. So I think I'm going to say 2008.
He's got it. Second time. That's 3 points.
Yeah, Huntelaar went to... I'm guessing he got his move to Schalke off the back of that.
Yeah, probably. The other clues that you would have got was Ratatouille won the Best Animated Feature Oscar.
That wouldn't have helped me out.
Okay. And Xavi won Player of the Tournament at the Euros.
Yeah, that would have nailed it on for me, but...
Very good guessing. Owen takes the lead with 3 points to 2.
Then for our next game, we will be giving each other a top 10. So it could, for instance, be the top 10 Premier League all-time goal scorers. I don't think either of us will be doing that. So, do you want to give me your top 10 first, and I'll have a go at guessing it?
So for how the points work for this, if you get all 10 right, so you have 3 strikes, if you get all 10 right within those 3 strikes, you will get 5 points. If you get 8 right, you'll get 3 points. If you get 5 right, 2 points. 3 right, 1 point. If you get less than 3 right, you're not getting no points. Yep. I'm giving you... So, this is a bit of a weird one I've gone for. So in 2011, if you please, Bleacher Report named their top 10 players in the world at that point.
At that point?
So in 2011...
2011... So not for the future?
Very much, this is Bleacher Report.
Okay.
So, an American...
Oh, that's rogue. That's so rogue. Right. I'll take Lionel Messi.
That is one, yes.
Next one, I'll take Cristiano Ronaldo.
That is
He's got to be in there.
Mm-hmm. They are the top 2.
I have a feeling they'll put Neymar in there.
In 2011, no. That is first strike.
Okay. Andres Iniesta?
In 4th place.
Xavi?
In 3rd place. You got the top 4.
Okay. Ooh, 2011 now. Who are we talking here? I don't think they'll put Fernando Torres in, but ooh. See, it's weird because 2011-12 was when a lot of the players who were top of world football just crashed and burned, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to go Fernando Torres. I'll go Frank Ribery.
Is not on there.
Damn. I think this should be a safe guess. Iker Casillas.
Coming in at 9th place.
Yeah, he felt safe. Obviously, World Cup winning goalkeeper with Spain.
So that's 5 points. So you've got yourself 2 points.
Okay. Who else is there then? What are we thinking?
2011 is
it's a weird point in
football.
It
is a weird point, but it's also a very nostalgic point in football.
Yeah.
It's when I was really.
Of course, Barcelona have just won the Champions League against Man United at Wembley, so I'm thinking there's going to be a couple of Barca players in here. So I'm going to throw in. I'm going to throw in David Villa
in 8th place.
Yeah, I'm going to throw in Carlos Puyol,
and that is your 3rd strike.
Is he not on there? No.
I tell you what. I think I could have given you 500 guesses and you would not have got the player that is in 10th place.
Go on.
So we'll start with... So you got the top 4. Messi, Ronaldo, Xavi, Iniesta. 5th place was Rooney.
Oh, of course.
6th place, Aguero.
Really? Mm-hmm. At that point? Okay.
7th, Mesut Ozil. 8th, David Villa. 9th, Casillas. And 10th, Sami and Nasri.
Jesus Christ.
There was never a point where Sami and Nasri was... I think
I've got to him eventually, but...
He was never close to top 10 best players.
He was an elite footballer, but he was never top 10 in the world.
I was reading their reasoning behind this, and it was he's stepped up since Fabregas' injury, and it was okay, if you say so. I was unconvinced. Right, what is the top 10 you have for me? So you scored 2 points there, so you're on 5 points overall.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to name the goalkeepers with the most penalties saved in Premier League history.
Oh my word.
So the top 10, I've got it here in front of me.
That's outrageous. I'm feeling longevity is going to be the way to go here.
Longevity's important.
I'm going to say Petr Cech.
Petr Cech is not on the list.
Well, it's an awful start, isn't it? Strike on the first one. Premier League history, so since 1992.
Yeah, it looks like it's definitely going back a good few years. I wouldn't say it goes that far back based off this. I think it...
Or it's just... penalties have become more common, though.
I think I'd say mid-2000s to present is when you're looking. I'll help you out, because it's not the easiest list.
Right. Well, it's weird because the top keeper in that time is David De Gea, but he is awful at saving penalties, so I'm not going for him. I will say Edwin van der Sar, though.
Edwin van der Sar is not on the list. You strike 2.
He saved penalties. This is really bad. I'm actually having a stinker here. I thought I do football. Penalty save. I feel like, is there someone who's like really obvious? I feel like it probably is. Oh dear. Who's just like the longevity? Like people like Alisson and Edison. Yeah, I remember seeing a couple of penalties. But I feel like it's going to be the person in 10th place will save like 6-7 penalties, I would imagine. God damn. I'm going to go for Joe Hart.
Joe Hart is on the list. He comes in 6th, joint 6th with 3 other players who all have 7 penalties saved.
Okay. Oh dear, I'm in my head. Who else? I'm surprised. How did Petr Cech not get on this list? That is baffling to me. Like, yeah, I know, but okay. What I need to get this. There's a lot of weird players in my head. Like I remember Stecklenburg saving 2 penalties in a game, but I don't feel like that's a good guess.
That was at the Etihad.
Oh yeah. There's players in definitely keeping like Emiliano Martinez. You talk about as a great penalty saver, but he's just not played enough Premier League games. God, I don't know who to go for. I'm gonna say, and this is going to bring me out almost certainly, but I want to say Tim Howard. Tim
Howard is on the list.
Okay.
He's joined with Joe Hart on 7 penalty saves.
Yeah. So I'm intrigued of who's the highest on this list. I've still got some weird players in my head. I'm going to go for Hugo Lloris.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, well, is it my final answer? You tell me.
It is indeed your final answer.
God.
You were striked out with 2.
So that's no points for me.
So coming in at number 1. Actually, we'll go from the bottom. So number 10 with 6 penalty saves. Manuel Almunia.
Yeah.
Joint with Hart and Howard, you would have Jussi Jääskeläinen and Kasper Schmeichel.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at 5th, Simon Mignolet with 8 penalty saves. Now, joint second, 3 players. You have 2 ex-England goalkeepers and a Brazilian.
2 ex-England goalkeepers.
You got any clue?
And a Brazilian. Is the Brazilian Gomez?
It is
I nearly said Gomez because I remember him saving a few penalties.
Worst goalkeepers I've ever watched.
He was okay at Tottenham.
And then your 2 ex-England keepers.
Ben Foster?
Ben Foster's there. And the other one?
Fraser Forster?
Nope, this fella had a howler at a World Cup.
Oh, Rob Green.
It is Rob Green. And then number 1, this will take you by surprise, Łukasz Fabianski.
Go on.
With 11 penalty saves. I think you were on the wrong school of thought. You were thinking top goalkeepers. You got to think goalkeepers that have played for pretty poor teams and concede penalties.
Oh, I just thought Petr Cech has played enough football to...
You'd think so, but people must just score penalties against them.
Right, stop recording.
Well, we can keep going because the camera...
Oh yeah, good point. Yeah. Don't have to worry about that anymore.
So our next game then.
Yes, we will be doing numbers that total. So we will give the other person a number that you have to get a number that, and then you have to combine 3 numbers that total. I've explained that really badly. Basically, we'll give 3 categories to the other person, and then they will have to pick up 3 players one player for each of those categories, and all those numbers will then total a certain number.
Yeah.
Possibly awfully described. Do you want to go first or something?
I'll go first, so you give me your categories.
Okay, so from a number that totals 100,
Yep.
I want you to give me League and goals from a player. The current FIFA men's team's international ranking.
Oh, that's a tough one.
And a non-football related one. The number of movies in a franchise.
Okay.
So totaling 100.
Totaling 100.
We're going to have to be doing some Googling here, probably.
So it's League on goals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to take Folarin Balogun. I think he's got about 14 this season.
Last season, yeah.
Yeah, last season, apologies. FIFA Men's World Rankings. I'm gonna go for... Who's ranked about... I want somebody who's ranked about 70th here. Maybe... yeah. Let's go for... Little think. I'm going to go Jamaica. Oh, actually, no. I'm going to change that.
But Jamaica do have a bobsled team, remember?
They do have a bobsleigh team, granted, but I'm not going to go for them. I'm going to go for... I'm going to go Malta. I'll have Malta, please.
Malta, okay. And finally, movies in a franchise.
So do I have to pick the franchise?
You have to pick a franchise, yeah.
I'll take Fast and Furious.
So
There's about 9 films.
I think there's more than that.
Are we counting all the spin-offs?
Well,
I think
which one do you prefer? Which one would you?
I'd like it without spin-offs, please.
Okay. I don't know how many spin-offs there are. Okay. How much? I feel like there's a 10th one just come out.
I thought it was 9 that's just come out now.
There's 12.
It's 12.
There's 12.
Including the spin-offs though.
Yeah, possibly. What's happening with my computer? What is the newest Fast and Furious film? That's what
I don't know.
I don't know why. I'm not going to lie to you. You've not got it.
Brilliant.
You've not got... Yeah, okay, Fast and Furious 10 is the newest one. So, Florian Balogun scored 21 goals in Ligue 1. Plus 10 for your Fast and Furious films. You went way off with Malta. They are 171st in the world. So you've drastically overshot.
That's a really tough category to give me.
Yeah, you could have played it differently though. You could have gone for a top-rated international side and then someone who scored more Ligue 1 goals. But,
that's very true.
What are your categories?
Right,
sorry, we didn't explain how points work for this. If you get it bang on the money, that is 10 points. If you get it 2 either side, that is 5 points. 5 either side, 3 points. Or within 10, 1 point.
So I'm going to give you numbers totaling 150, please.
Mm-hmm.
So I want this non-football one. The country's bronze medals at the 2020 Olympics. I will have La Liga goals, and I will take Premier League assists.
Totaling 150.
Yep.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Okay. La Liga goals. I think I want to say Neymar's got maybe 70, 80. So we'll go for that. And then Premier League assists. like Giggs is in a league of his own. De Bruyne's up there. I'm trying to think like how many certain players will have. Like, what am I really wanting to score here? I'm probably wanting to get quite high, so I can go for like a lesser nation who probably won't have got that many bronze medals. Because I don't know how many like China will have. So I'm gonna say who's gonna have like 70? Is it? I'm gonna go for Gareth Barry. Just going off longevity, he's got to have got
Gareth Barry. Okay.
He does have the most appearances, so he's got to have got a few assists in his day.
Just have a quick look here.
And then I'm gonna go for Sweden for bronze medals.
You're going Sweden for
bronze medals at the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games, I do believe.
Indeed.
Which didn't even take place in 2020.
Nope, it did not. So you went Sweden, did you say?
Yeah.
Okay, just one moment, please.
Sweden, Neymar, Gareth Barry.
Sweden, Neymar, and Gareth Barry.
I never thought.
Okay, so how many La Liga goals do you think?
I want to say 68, but I don't know if that's his PSG goals.
That's bang on the money.
Is it?
68.
I don't really.
Right, Gareth Barry, how many Premier League assists do you reckon? 713 games.
Yeah, a lot of games. I'm kind of hoping like it's like high 50s, like 58.
Yeah, 71.
Okay.
So that puts you on 138.
This feels okay, you know.
So now, you need 2 to be in the points.
Yeah.
How many bronzes at the 2020 Olympic Games?
I just don't know. Like I don't know what the Sweden are third best in the world at. Like that's just not overly my forte.
They got a grand total of 0.
Oh, for God's sake! I've done so well there as well.
You did brilliantly until you went Sweden, a country that would have got you into the points. Bulgaria, Iran, Kenya.
Is there anyone who got 12
bronze medals? There is one, and they probably got them on sympathy. It's Ukraine.
that was pre-war, I think.
Yeah, 12 would have if you'd gone Ukraine. That's
frustrating. Anyway, numbers total. So that was that round. And the final sort of quizzy round, we are doing players that a certain player had played with.
Yeah.
So do you want to? So if you get it on the first guess, 5 points. Then 3 points, 2 points, 1 point.
Yeah.
For the 4 players that we'll all name. Do you want to go first or second?
I'll go second.
Okay.
So your first player.
We're also doing it in chronological order when they played with them.
Might not be team order.
No, there could be other teams, but it will be in. Yeah.
So your first player, Dennis Bergkamp.
Okay, so I'm feeling like you'll do it like Inter Milan, because that feels like a you sort of thing to do. But it could also be, I don't even know who he played for in Holland. I'm presuming he played for Ajax, but it could also be a PSV sort of boy. Who would have played for Inter Milan around that time? I'm gonna say Milito.
It's not Diego Milito. No.
Yeah,
I think you're about
that's
20
about 10
years too early.
That was a shocker.
Next one, Roberto Mancini.
Okay. I'm Italian football great is what I'm feeling. I'm just gonna go for R9.
It's not Ronaldo Nazario. Next player is Samuel Eto'o.
Again, it's going to just all be an Italian football. But I'm going to presume that it's something weird and it's like Eto'o at Everton or something like that, or maybe Eto'o at Chelsea. It's weird that it's maybe Dennis Bergkamp though. If it is that, so it could just be Barcelona. I'm just going to say Zlatan.
It's not Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And the final player, Javier Zanetti.
Okay, well, that's got to be at Inter Milan. So has he returned to Inter Milan, or was he never there in the first place? So Zanetti's a one club man, right?
More or less,
yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
more or less. I'm almost certainly okay. Well, this is really difficult. Inter Milan to I feel like I'm Samuel Eto'o's thrown me then. He played with like Eto'o at... Oh, he just played with Eto'o at Real? That'd be disgusting if you'd given that to me. I feel like, based off that laugh.
I don't know. Can't remember.
Real, Inter. Well, I've guessed R9. Who else will have played for Real and Inter around that time? And then... Lord... Lazio? Was that where... I don't know where Mancini played, to be honest with you. No, he's Italian football. Sampdoria. Not going to get that. And then Dennis Bergkamp. Is he Dutch? He could be a Dutch player. Or he's just come back to Inter Milan. You've really thrown me off here. I'm having an absolute disaster class already, so this isn't good. I actually can't think of someone who... I'm going to say Julio Cesar.
It is not. It was Clarence Seedorf. He played at Ajax with Dennis Bergkamp.
They were Dutch.
Sampdoria with Roberto Mancini. Real Madrid with Samuel Eto'o. And Inter Milan with Javier Zanetti before he went on to become a legend at AC Milan.
Yeah, that's the thing. You've not given me the bulk of his career.
No, I haven't.
You've just... Okay, I mean, fair. But that's annoying. I should have had more confidence in the Dutchness.
Yeah, you probably could have.
Okay. The first player I'm going to give you is Pandev.
Pandev, Inter, straight away. Philippe Coutinho.
What's just happened?
I'm right, aren't I? Who was your next player? Fabio Borini at Liverpool.
No, Kolo Torre.
I'm sorry, Pandev was there at the same time Coutinho was.
I'm aware. That's why I put it.
And they went on to Liverpool, then Barca, then Villa, right?
Do you want to guess the other players I've got written down while you're at it?
Go on then, Barca. Who will you have put?
I'm just livid about this. He's just 5 points. He's just got that off Pandev. Pandev has about 10 different clubs.
Yeah, but I knew it was going to be Inter. Can you name another club that Pandev played for?
North Macedonia.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, who did you put down for Barcelona, you dirty, dirty dog? I think you will have gone... Griezmann.
I went for Thomas Vermaelen.
Oh, fucking hell, yeah.
And for Aston Villa, who do you think was the player right? I could have gone for Bayern as well.
Oh, yeah. I reckon you've gone some new side. Jordan Veretout.
Jordan Veretout. I went for Danny Ings.
Well,
well, that is absolutely outrageous. You have smashed me. 10 points to 2. Thank you very much for watching this podcast. We have had some technical difficulties throughout because someone doesn't know how to charge a camera battery, apparently.
I don't know who that would be.
No, we definitely didn't lose 15 minutes of footage at some point and just re-record everything.
No, we're professionals. We'd never do that.
No, that couldn't be us. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We will have similar challenges and things coming throughout the year. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you for watching.